So we are back. Welcome into the GVT Football Show. I'm your host, Goma Victor Hines, and as always, it is a pleasure to have you here with me. And so the international break is done and dusted, and that is it for the year. From here on then, it is going to be non-stop club football, domestic football, European football. It is all coming up straight to your television screens, and what a season it's been so far. Now, the international football is definitely something to behold, but let's be honest, it is nothing in comparison to what club football has to offer. This season in itself, we've seen bizarre results, we've seen shocking results, and well, exactly why we love this sport. So, club football returns this weekend, and there's some pretty big fixtures coming up to your television screen. So let's take a look to what you could expect this weekend. We'll start off in England with the Premier League that is up to match week 9 so far. So kicking off match week 9 is Newcastle United taking on Chelsea. Now both teams have some sort of, well, I should say they differ at the moment. Chelsea in their last 5 games are unbeaten. They've won 3 and drawn twice. But for Newcastle United, they have only 2 wins in their last 5 games. Their most recent fixture, they were defeated by 2-0 by Southampton before the international break came calling. Now Newcastle United, the last time they faced off Chelsea at St James's Park, they came in with a 1-0 victory. So if they were to come out with any sort of confidence, or if they were to channel any sort of confidence, they would channel that from that result, saying that, you know, we did it once, we can do it again. But they face a tough task because Chelsea, as I said, unbeaten in their last 5. Things seem to be clicking right now for Chelsea. Frank Lampard's new men have seemed to just gotten to that point whereby now they can link up with each other. Now they're starting to get used to each other, and they're understanding the way that they want, the way that he wants them to play. Defensively, they've kept 3 clean sheets in their last 5 games, and that is something. If you're a Chelsea fan, those are statistics that you love to see, that you love to hear, given the way the season started off. And you have the likes of Hakim Ziyech, you have the likes of Timo Werner, who have started finding their footing and are finally starting to get a hold of life in England. Now, speaking of Timo Werner is on course to breaking a record that has stood since the days of Didier Drogba. Now, if Timo Werner can get himself on a score sheet against Newcastle United, he will have broken the record set by Didier Drogba by becoming the first player since the Ivorian to score in 5 consecutive Premier League matches. So a record already beckons early on for the German international. But if you'd ask me which way this game is definitely going to go, then I'll be pretty surprised if Chelsea did not come in with all 3 points from St James's Park this weekend. Now, Tottenham Hotspur take on Manchester City. Now, Jose Mourinho versus Pep Guardiola, a rivalry reinstated. Now, Pep Guardiola has signed a contract extension with Manchester City, meaning that he is going to stay in Manchester for a further 2 years. Now, Pep Guardiola arrived in Manchester back in 2016, and it's been trophy after trophy. During that time, he's gone on to win 8 major trophies with Manchester City, including 2 Premier League titles, 2 FA Community Shields, 1 FA Cup, and 3 League Cups. And the board has just gone on to give him a vote of confidence to say, go on out there, win us more trophies, decorate this trophy cabinet. And there is one trophy in particular that they and he are looking at, and that is the UEFA Champions League, a trophy that has for so long eluded Manchester City, and one that Pep Guardiola has taken some time without getting his hands on. But that is a story for another day. We look at Tottenham Hotspur taking on Manchester City. Now, Tottenham are looking good of late. Jose Mourinho and his Tottenham side are on their longest ever active unbeaten run in the Premier League. In their last 7 games, they've won 5 times and drawn twice. So they go into this game with a little bit of confidence, going up against the Manchester City side that has had a string of inconsistent results. But one thing that we do know about Pep Guardiola is once it does come to the big games, he normally tends to show up, and he's going up against one of his longest standing rivals in Jose Mourinho. And a Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola rivalry will definitely go down in the history of this sport as one of the greatest rivalries between managers. And it is here yet again this weekend. It's very difficult to call a winner, but I would have to say it would be a draw. I have to say, I see both teams likely bringing their A game in this one. Gabriel Jesus is returning for the striking on the striking line for Pep Guardiola, while for the likes of Jose Mourinho, you have Heung-min Son, you have Harry Kane, two players who are in their absolute peak right now, going up against a Manchester City side that has had their defensive issues, but a defense that is starting to refine themselves. It is going to be high octane, it's going to be quality, it is going to be a spectacle to watch. So it's very hard to call a winner, and with both teams bring their A games, I see both teams at least going away with a point. Now, Manchester United take on West Bromwich Albion. Manchester United got a 3-1 victory before the international break came calling against Everton, and they go up against a West Bromwich side that has failed to register a victory so far this season, and it's a tough task for the Magpies going up against going to Old Trafford and trying to get a result. Now, Manchester United, every time there are games that we know that they should win, and more often than none, they tend not to win. But they have to have the confidence coming in from that 3-1 victory. Then we had some of the players such as Anthony Martial having a run-in with the French national side. Yeah, Daniel James going out to the French national with the Welsh national side as well. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to find a way of getting momentum, and he has to start winning these sort of games. These are the games that he has to win, and the players know that. He knows that, and this is a game, let's say, that they should win. I'll be very surprised if they fail to come out with 3 points. But this season, we've seen a lot of surprises, and yeah, we've seen a lot of surprises, but Manchester United should easily come in with all 3 points in this game when you have the likes of Bruno Fernandes, who is a marvel to watch, who is one of the best players in the Premier League. Then Manchester United have to be firm favourites to come away with a victory in this game. Now, Fulham United take on Everton. Both teams have only one victory in their last 5 games. Now, for Everton, one fact is, ever since Richarlison landed at Everton back in 2018, each time Everton has played without him on the pitch, they've gone on to lose those games. Now, Everton have lost their last 3 games after a quite impressive start, and Richarlison was absent for those games after he got himself suspended after getting a red card in the Liverpool game, and it was turmoil for Carlo Ancelotti and his men. However, he does return. He did play for Brazil during the international break and got himself on the score sheet in one of those games. So he's going to be, no doubt, eager and hungry to come back, score more goals, get his team winning, and his team and Carlo Ancelotti will be, no doubt, as well, to get back to winning ways. So Fulham really have their work cut out in this one, and I see Everton coming away with 3 points and getting back to winning ways. Now, Leeds go up against Arsenal. Leeds have not beaten Arsenal since 2003. However, this time round, Leeds look like a quite impressive outfit. They did manage to push Liverpool all the way early on in the season, and they did manage to get a draw against Manchester City. They go up against an Arsenal side who, before the international break, were thrashed by 3-0 by Aston Villa. Mikel Arteta after that came out and said that was his worst performance as the Arsenal manager, and rightly so. Arsenal were just appalling on the day. They were off on all cylinders in the striking, in the midfield, and in the defense. It was absolutely appalling, and this national break perhaps was just something that they needed to take their minds off that. But they are back, and they will go up against a Leeds United side who do know how to attack. They do know how to harm you if you don't get your defensive priorities on point. Now, Arsenal's major issues have been creativity. They've just not been creating enough chances to score the goals. Aubameyang has had a pretty dry spell this season, not the Aubameyang that we know him to be, and that's down to the creativity. However, they do go up against a Leeds United side that struggles defensively. Now, in the ratio of goals conceded per game, They have a 2.1 to Arsenal's 1.2. That means they let in more goals than Arsenal actually do. However, Leeds do score more goals than Arsenal. They have an average of 1.8 goals per game to Arsenal's 1.1. So Arsenal have to be wary of those statistics that Leeds can definitely go there and harm them. Now, if you'd ask me who is going to come out victor in this game, now Arsenal has to win this game in order for Mikel Arteta to at least divert some of the questions that are coming up and to at least push away some of that criticism. However, I can't ignore this gut feeling that Leeds United have the potential to actually defeat Arsenal this time around for the first time since 2003. I don't know why, but I have that gut feeling that, you know what, if Arsenal don't bring their A game, if they don't turn up, and if they put in that kind of performance, then it is going to be another weekend of defeat for the Gunners and Mikel Arteta. Now, Liverpool go up against Leicester City. Now, Leicester take a trip to Anfield, and in all their away games so far this season, they have taken all maximum points. All 4 away games, all victories, and have scored 13 goals in that process. Now, this is a scary statistic for the Liverpool fans, given the fact that they're going into this game with none of their first choice back 4 players eligible for contention, because Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, Virgil van Dijk, and Andy Robertson are all out injured from this game and are going to be out for quite some time. Now, of course, Fabinho does return. He is no natural centre back, but we've seen him perform quite all right in this defensive position. Now, Joel Matip is going to be he has to be perhaps the first choice centre back if for Jurgen Klopp for this game. However, it is going to be who is he going to partner him up with. Now, we do know the threat that Leicester City hold, and their strength lies in their pace. So once you have someone like Jamie Vardy and you have someone like Harvey Barnes coming at you with that sort of pace, then you have to have some sort of defense that is going to cope with that pressure. So Nat Phillips is the other player in contention to partner up with Joel Matip, because he was given his debut against West Ham United and he impressed. He was dominant. He was aerially dominant. He had 9 clearances and he registered the 3rd highest top speed for a Liverpool player this season. So going by that statistic, you have to have someone who is going to be able to go leg to leg in a leg race with Jamie Vardy. But is he experienced enough? Is he going to be able to cope with this sort of pressure? Fabinho, we do know, as a deep-lying midfielder, once Leicester City come in with that sort of press, he is not going to panic, and he has a brilliant distribution ability. So it's going to be interesting how Liverpool do shape up tactically in the defense. And of course, Mohamed Salah has tested positive for the coronavirus and will miss that game. That is another huge blow for Liverpool. And all pointers right now, you could say that Liverpool are in a disadvantaged position. Leicester City are top of the table, and one thing that we know about this season is if you don't make use of each and every game, then somebody is going to dethrone you. And I know Brendan Rodgers definitely wants to maintain top spot. So it's going to be a tough game for Liverpool, but it's definitely going to be a pretty tricky game for Leicester City as well. Asking me who's going to win this game, I don't know why, but Leicester City, given all the scenarios going on in Liverpool at the moment and just how good Leicester City are at the moment, then it is hard not to pick Leicester City as a winner for this game. Then Wolves take on Southampton on Monday night. Southampton managed to get a few moments of time at the top of the table before the international break. And Colin Mason, they go up against a Wolves side whose manager, Nuno Espirito Santo, won October Manager of the Month for October, and he will be eager and no doubt ready and wanting to get all 3 points on Monday night. Now off to Spain, where Villarreal take on Real Madrid. Now Real Madrid has had their issues this season. We all know they've had a lot of strings of inconsistent performances, and they find themselves in 4th in the La Liga table. And before the international break came calling, they were defeated by 4-1 by Valencia, and yet again more questions being asked of Zinedine Zidane. Now they go up against a Villarreal side that has started off this season quite impressively. They find themselves in 2nd position, just 2 points behind the league leaders Real Sociedad, and Real Madrid haven't beaten Villarreal away from home since 2017. So Villarreal have a little bit of confidence going into this game. One, their opponents are kind of struggling. Two, they have confidence in themselves. They have been performing brilliantly, and they are in a 4-game winning run, consecutive winning run in all competitions. So it's going to be a tough task for Real Madrid to overcome, given the fact that Sergio Ramos is going to be absent with a hamstring injury that he picked up during the international break. And we've all known that defensively, Real Madrid have been pretty weak this season. That's been their major Achilles heel, and without one of the best defenders in world football, it's going to be quite tough for them to cope without him. But they are still Real Madrid. They still have plenty of options to fill in for them, and they need to get a victory, because if not, Zinedine Zidane, more questions will be aimed your way. FC Barcelona take on Atletico Madrid in one of the big games of the weekend. Atletico Madrid are in third, and Barcelona find themselves in 8th position after picking up only 11 points so far this season. Barcelona, like Real Madrid, find themselves in a situation whereby, well, it is not a situation, that either one of them would want to be in. And for Barcelona, it looks like they have more internal problems. Just recently, Lionel Messi, returning from the international break, was met with reporters at the airport and asked about the ongoing problems with Griezmann. He said that nowadays it seems that I seem to be at the center of each and every problem in FC Barcelona. Those sort of comments sound like comments coming from a player who just seems to be fed up with everything going on at the club. And I feel sorry for Lionel Messi, because Lionel Messi, ever since the fiasco and the drama that went down during the preseason, I should say, he has been quiet for most of the season. After all that went down, he came into the season head down. I was like, you know what, I want to play my football. But you have lots of people still coming in to attack a player who you all know is the greatest player ever to grace the Camp Nou and play for FC Barcelona. And you know that you want to have the greatest player of all time at your club. But everything that's been going on, he's thinking about moving away, and then you're not helping the situation at all by again attacking the player. You know, they just start helping themselves. Yes, Bartomeu is out, but does that solve all the problems that Barcelona still have? Absolutely not. So it's going to be interesting to see how Lionel Messi copes up over the coming weeks. He was the main instigator of that 5-2 thrashing that Barcelona inflicted on their opponents before the international break. Came off the bench, scored 2 goals, had an assist, and was the star man, as he's always been. But an unhappy player. Who do you know who has problems off the field or has the problems at home, then comes into work and brings in his best? Who do you know? It's very hard. So Messi, we all know who Messi is. Messi is definitely one of the greatest of all time, but even he is human. Even he, if things are not going well, is going to show in his performances. This season, it's not been the performance that, we know Messi to show week in, week out, but you can still tell that he is the guy that FC Barcelona have to depend on. Right now, even in the absence of Ansu Fati seemed to be taking the responsibility pretty well, but that unfortunate incident came in. Now Lionel Messi has to take over yet again and take FC Barcelona on his shoulders. But going up against Atletico Madrid, who have been impressive, the likes of Joao Felix, Diego Costa, Luis Suarez is absent, won't have that reunion with his former club, and I bet he would have loved that. I bet he would have loved scoring against a team that kicked him out. But Atletico Madrid look poised and look favourites for a victory in this game, all because FC Barcelona just have problems that go way beyond things that we see on the football field. And then Sevilla take on Celta Vigo, with Cadiz taking on Real Sociedad, while in Italy, Juventus play Cagliari with the return of Matthias de Ligt. Leonardo Bonucci and Chiellini will be out and will not be in contention for this game, but Demiral and Matthias de Ligt returns after a long spell out with an injury. Then of course Cristiano Ronaldo and Alvaro Morata have been, for the few games that we've seen them play, seem to be a force to be reckoned with, and they go up against the Cagliari side, who have been impressive by themselves this season, and they did win the last game these two faced, came up against each other. But once you have Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the greatest of all time, then my money definitely has to be on Juventus, more so the Italian powerhouse. Inter Milan take on Torino, while Napoli play AC Milan in the other big game of the weekend. So there is football coming your way from all angles, from all parts of Europe. So sit back, enjoy full-on quality entertainment European football. I'm your host, Victor Hines, and I'll see you guys all next time.